Hey YouTube, Dostermiter here with my review of Go-Go Power Rangers issue 10. I'm a little bit late on this. In fact, I'm filming this before issue 28 hits of the main comic, but I don't know if it's going to come out before or after it, but I'm sorry I'm late. But let's jump in. This was a really solid issue. I liked it a lot. We opened with Kim, kind of a flashback of Coinless World Kim and Bulk, like, scouting some stuff out. They have kind of a nice conversation about, like, you know, not contextualizing, but reflecting on how things used to be. You know, Bulk is the bully, Kim is a valley girl, kind of like all the generic stereotypes you know from MMPR, the show and the comic, and like how weird things used to be, and like, you know, he didn't know she was a Power Ranger, and how they're in this crazy fight together now. And it was kind of a nice moment, and then it segues to the main everyday stuff, and it was a pretty good mix of like a standard Go-Go Power Rangers issue, like kind of dealing with the day-to-day, but like the running background stuff most of the characters were talking about involved, you know, Ranger Slayer and her being an evil Kim from the future. There was still that storyline of Jason's dad, and he wanted Zordon to help, but it was kind of like Yoda's like, train yourself to let go. I'm like, yeah, you're not helpful. At least you're not a fearmonger like Yoda was. But, well, maybe he kind of is. I don't know. But, so that's kind of interesting to me in a way. I think I mentioned in the last review how I guess it makes sense because the Shattered Grid storyline isn't going to completely eclipse what Go-Go Power Rangers was doing. It just seems weird to have such a substantial storyline like that happening. Like, everyone else is talking about Ranger Slayer stuff, and that's kind of the main thing happening, but then maybe it'll tie into something later. I'm not saying I dislike it, it just seems weird. I might have waited on we'll see, maybe it'll somehow be so good it doesn't matter, or tie into something somehow that happens within the Shattered Grid bubble, but it just feels like something I would have waited to do or done before we hit this. It just seems distracting, I guess, for me, but it's kind of more of a personal thing. Then you have Matt on the side kind of doing an investigation. It's kind of like when Lana was trying to figure out Clark's secret on and on in Smallville. Like, she's doing his own investigation into how everything that's happened to him is tied to the Power Rangers, and he shows up at the Zord fight and stuff like that, and Kim's like, oh gee, you think the Power Rangers are involved? I don't think so, Matt. Let's go get a smoothie! Like, that's basically what happened. And so everyone's just kind of talking about that stuff and what's going on and continuing the stuff from last week. And then Ranger Slayer's Zord shows up, the Gravezord, which is like an amalgam of other Zords, a lot of Season 2 Zords. It looks really cool. Definitely on my list of things I'd like to see from Hasbro's toy lines eventually, if we get our grateful enough, our fortunate enough to get comic stuff. I would love not only like a Megazord figure of it. I don't know how buildable it could be since it's an amalgam, but even just a large scale size Megazord figure, but I wouldn't mind like a action figure size. Just give me both! But it looked cool, and it's attacking, they're fighting it in the Zords, and then they're like, oh, plot twist, she's controlling it remotely. I don't know why I'm assuming it's in her head, but she's kind of like when Tony is like doing pull-ups in like Iron Man 3, and he's quote-unquote hosting Pepper. He can like do stuff like that. That's the way I kind of saw it in my head. She says it was with an AI though, so I think it's more like it's on a fight autopilot and she's just talking through it. The bottom line is she's controlling the Zord and she attacks the command center. For me, very reminiscent of Green with Evil when Tommy attacked the command center. You know, she's just punching Alpha. She's like, I love robots because I can punch them so much more. Like, that's basically what she said. It wasn't exactly that dialogue, but she's in there reminding me of that a lot, and she took like Zordon, not out, but kind of like offline, I think, if I remember right. And then she stopped by herself. She's like, I'm gonna, no, like that, like present day Kim came and attacked her. So yeah, very solid issue. I liked it a lot. I liked the day-to-day stuff with them dealing with it. It was kind of neat to see the vibe of Go-Go Power Rangers, but with the plot going on being something of Shattered Grid. The Jason's dad stuff still a little out of place for me. Not bad, but out of place. I loved the beginning flashback with Kim. I'm very curious how Ranger Slayer is going to go, because in the flashback it definitely seemed like she was part of the Resistance. That's what Resistance fighters look like. Others look different. But then obviously now she's super evil, but then we know she's going to be leading this new MMPR team in the comic, the proper comic. So I'm definitely curious about her arc. I would have been curious, you know, I would have read this issue before the news, but now knowing the news, it kind of colors it differently. So I'm very curious about that. There's also the Matt stuff going on. I haven't had my muffin yet, Matt. So yeah, very good stuff. I enjoyed it a lot. I would give this issue, probably give it an 8.5. Let's give it that extra 0.5 for Christmas in June. But yeah, so that's it for this. Again, not sure if this is coming out before or after the 28's review, but it's being recorded before it. But look forward to issue 28's review coming very soon, or it may have already been here. Who knows? Weebly wobbly, timey-wimey, no straight lines. Anyway, until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to get more comic reviews and TV reviews, mainly toy reviews, and just a bunch of hot nonsense and heavyweights references. Anyway, until next time, Dawson Ryder, signing out.